Testing. Oh, I don't know what that is right there. Interesting. Are we going to go live? I'm live. So, am I live? Can everybody see me, or are you seeing something else? I have no idea. I'm trying out a different studio, so this is where I'm at and what I got so far. Not sure if everybody can see me or not, so I guess I'll wait for a minute and till people come in. If I'm even live, I don't know. It says I am. Let me see. It looks like I am. Okay. The internet can totally see me now. It says to use my encoder. Well, there I am. Can you see me and not my studio's showing something really different. I have no idea what is up with that. Yeah, it looks like I got the frame kind of off. But only I have my studio kind of like set up. I'm waiting on one more piece of furniture and I will be completely set up. And the audio's nice and loud and loud enough. I don't need to turn it up. I've been messing with it so long. I was going to try to be on at 8:30 and nothing was working, of course. And I didn't want to come on and have all kinds of problems. Hi, Jan. Thank you for telling me I'm on. And hello, Rob. And Connie. And Winner. Hi, Winner. And I'm not an ad. Seriously, I'm not. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so wow, what a week, huh? I had a very big week. We went out, investigated a Dogman sighting. Hello, Renee. How are you? Hello, sons and daughters of liberty. Right on. I'm glad I'm coming in loud and clear. I switched over. Hey, James. I was using OBS Studio and I switched over to Streamlabs. And I was playing with it, but it seems like the same as OBS, but only it's a little bit different. So I'm going to have to mess with it a little bit more. It has more capabilities than the OBS Studio. So I think I'm going to enjoy this one. I think everybody else will like it too, because I can do more things with it and make things a little better here. It's a little bit warm in here. The fan, I had to turn the fan down because it was overpowering the microphone and I could hear it way too good. But I think I have everything adjusted. Okay, so we went out and we investigated the Dogman sighting, and we went over to the place where the Dogman was stalking these guys and got within 20 yards of them. And then when they saw it and it saw them seeing it, it turned around and started leaping. And you guys heard the last show I did. I had him call in. I think he called in and he told the story better than I can. But we went out there, and the first place that we stopped, we did a couple of haulers. Only we were actually hollering, doing the Bigfoot hauler, and we were next to an orange orchard, and it sounded like female to me hollering back. And it wasn't very far away, maybe 100 yards, but it was inside the orange orchard. How's it going, Brown Dwarf? I was watching your videos, man. Good stuff. And I haven't been back. I saw that you commented and stuff, but I haven't went and looked at I haven't checked anything. I've been really, really busy. Really busy. In fact, we went up yesterday, and I'll get to that. But I've been out and about quite a bit. But we went out and went to this Dogman sighting area. Hey Ed, how are you, man? And 3 times I got the screams coming back at me. And then everything died, and we stayed there probably about 3 hours, and we would have went, more towards the Bigfoot or whatever was making the calls back to us, except for it was private property, and we didn't want it. We want to get permission before we head out through people's property. And then behind us, again across the road, that's where the Dogman was coming down the hill. We kind of went through the fence right there, and went a little ways in there, and nothing was over there. Some coyotes started kicking up, and it was coyotes. It wasn't Bigfoot or anything mimicking a Bigfoot. And so we stayed there about 45 minutes, and then there was another place, and we were actually with the guy that had the sighting, and with another guy that had several Bigfoot sightings over the years, starting way back like in the late 70s was his first encounter during a hunting trip. Yeah, no kidding, huh? You don't want to be giving the mating call, especially when it was a female. I'm almost positive it was a female. It sounded like a woman screaming back. And I know though the Bigfoot can they can do it. Almost sounds like sometimes when they scream back, it sounds like it's only one animal, but it sounds like 2 different frequencies coming back at you, like a high and a low. They can do that simultaneously. I don't know how, but they do. This one didn't have the low part to it. It was just high. But when it did go off on the 3rd time it went off, it set off a bunch of coyotes on the other side of the road, which was where the Dogman was coming from. And I heard that you have to be careful of Dogman, or whatever you call them, because they run in packs. That's what I heard. I don't know that for sure, but a little bit of research, and they could run in packs. So, I mean, it could have been them, barking and hollering like coyotes, but I really think it was coyotes, though, because after the 3rd scream from this, whatever it was over there, the coyotes went crazy. And we stayed until the coyotes quit, and then everything calmed down. Then we weren't getting anything, so we actually moved to several places. We were out there a couple of hours. The first place we went to was a bridge that we had got tips from the Sanger Police Department, seeing things running across the bridge. So that was the first place that we checked out. It was fenced off. And now back in the 70s and early 80s, this is where we would jump in the river and float. And you could float for 3 hours and wind up in Reedley. But only they have it fenced off, and I mean really fenced off, no, you can't get in there. There's no way to get down to the river. I think they did it because of all the people parking their cars or getting dropped off and, leaving trash and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure the people that own the property around there didn't like what people bring. And it's a sad thing because there's a place that we used to go to that had like a cavern. Yeah, I mean, and you had to go under a rock, like swim under the rock, and you came out in this big cavern. And there was a little waterfall where this creek came into it, and a little pool in there, and you could swim in there. But after, nobody would clean their garbage up, and there was beer bottles and beer cans and beer container cases that the beer bottles and cans came in, garbage everywhere, people's clothing all over the place. And when we would go, we would clean it up and we would pack out these garbage bags. Only some of it was broken glass where who knows whatever they were doing in there. But the guy got sick of it and he blew it up. So now that really cool place is gone because people, what would you say, abused everything. And he caught us we went up there I was going to show a friend and we hiked over there and it didn't look right to me, and there was no way to get into this cavern. It looked like there was no more cavern. All the boulders are all busted up in a big pile, and the owner was out there, and he came while we were standing there and asked what we were looking for, and I told him, and he started laughing and said he blew it up like 15 years ago. And I was like, oh, why'd you do that? And he told me why, and I understand. It's the same reason probably why they put fences on that bridge on both sides, really high, 10-foot tall chain link fence. So that kind of was a bust. And that's why we moved on down to where the guy had the Dogman sighting, and we got the 3 calls back, the coyotes howling. Yeah, and I saw it go by. The coyotes hang with the Dogman. They very well could, from what I understand, and run with that pack. Maybe the Dogman helps them get their food, being bigger and faster and able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, faster than a speeding bullet. And we stayed out there till around midnight. And some of the other areas that we normally go to, because it's summertime and it's so hot in the daytime, there was a ton of people out there fishing and just sitting and parked out there everywhere, like barbecuing and in the night. And it wasn't really conducive to any kind of investigation for Bigfoot or trying to find the Bigfoot or the Dogman. There just was way too many people and lanterns everywhere. And if you did any kind of calls or anything like that, the other people could be making the calls, so you didn't know if you were hearing anything real coming back or if it was just somebody messing with you. So we called it a night and we left. I believe he blew it up. He said he blew it up himself with dynamite and blew it up. Over here, where in the mountains, if you have, like this guy has, probably a little over 1,000 acres and he runs cattle on it, you can get a permit and and dynamite it. And I know the police would have let him or helped him get the permit because they got called out there quite a bit, or he had to call people out there quite a bit because people were fighting or drunk, and there's accidents. Several people got killed over the years wrecking their cars. It's a really narrow, where that cavern was. It's a 1-lane road, and people would just get stupid and fly off the road and into a big, huge live oak and kill themselves and everybody in the car. At one, my kids had some friends from high school, and 6 of them died. They didn't have seat belts on. Just crazy. So I know he blew it up. So I'm sure the law enforcement was with him when he blew it up, and maybe they blew it up for him, but he said he blew it up. I don't know all the details. All I know is it's blown up, and he said he blew it up. But I'm sure that the police helped him get either the permit or helped him do it or did it. There's no question. But it was blown up. And then the bridge being blocked off, that kind of was, we stayed out there, we used the FLIR, we shined some spotlights around. There could have been something down in there and wasn't revealing itself. It's real thick down there. There's wild berries on both sides, and there was berries on the bushes. So there could have been, and the berries went all the way down to the water from the top of the bank all the way down, and I would say a 10-foot bank, and it went as far as you could see in the night anyways with a spotlight. The berries went all the way down, and on one side was almonds, and on the other side was oranges of the river. And then on the other side of the road, I would say on the west side of the river, so the northwest side of from where we were, there was actually a party going, and you could hear them yelling and screaming over there. And so I thought if there was any Bigfoot or anything around there, they probably were over there watching the partiers or getting out of the area because of how much traffic there was. Hey, Ghost Wolf, what's up? So that it was kind of a bust. I mean, it was interesting to see where everything occurred, and it was interesting to find that there was places we can't go that we thought we could go. So now it won't be anything that we think about going to now because you can't. And then Saturday, I worked inside here all day and trying to figure out where to put the desk. I'm worried now. I have to work on lighting. I have like a bare lamp over here and a work light over there, and so I'm working on the lighting. I need to get some kind of lighting in here, and that's what I did this week until Saturday. And then yesterday I went out with Adolf, and we went up to Redinger Lake right below. Actually, we stopped at Kirchhoff Reservoir and Redinger Reservoir. And again, it was the same thing. There was a ton of people. I have some video of that. I didn't get video of the night that, I think it was Thursday night that we went out for the Dogman thing. I didn't get any video at all. I was with Jeff, and I didn't want to push it with cameras and stuff like that. I was just behaving. Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about having her on and talking about her little law, her thing about Bigfoot that she's doing. Hey, Woolly Booger, you can't find anybody good enough to, or dumb enough to go out with you? Oh, man. I have, everybody wants to go out with me. In fact, they come and pick me up and we go. I don't even have to drive. See, now that's where we were at. Bad intentions. We were, and by the way, how's it going? Bad intentions. Hi, Claudia. And we didn't make it. We didn't go all the way over to Avocado Lake because there was people everywhere night fishing. You could see the lanterns all over the place. There was people picnicking out there. But you have to understand it was 109 that day, somewhere in there. People were saying that at like my patio said 112, 113, somewhere in there. So it was really hot, and everybody comes out in the night and they take their fishing poles out there and grab their sandwiches and their picnic basket and they head out, and everybody's out there all night long, enjoying the nice, cool place. How's it going, Bolt Gun? So yesterday, I went out with Adolf. He wanted to try this new gold hunting technique, and he had a specific place in mind. Only the last time that he was up there was in the 80s, and he could picture it in his mind and everything, but we couldn't really locate it. And it's been a long time since I've been down at that river. Kirkhoff, a lot of times. Kirkhoff is right below Redinger. It kind of goes along the San Joaquin River. There's Millerton Lake, and then there's a piece of river, and then there's Kirkhoff Reservoir, and then some river, and then there's another dam, and there's Redinger Lake or Reservoir, and then some river and another dam, and then there's Mammoth Pool, and then right above that is Shaver Lake and Edison. I mean, it just keeps going up the river, and they have all these dams and hydroelectric projects up there. And I had been to Kirkhoff a whole bunch of times over the years. Maybe the last time I went to Kirkhoff was 6 years ago. And it's hot. It's lower elevation, a lot of poison oak. I don't really like to go in those areas because poison oak hates me, and I hate it back. It gets all, well, maybe I should rephrase that. Poison oak loves me. I could just look at it and I get it. So I really don't like to go out in the lower elevations and hike around the creeks, because the creeks usually have lots of poison oak crammed in it, along with the wild berries and stuff like that. But the poison oak is nasty. I usually wind up in the hospital if I get in there too much, and sometimes I don't even have to get in it. Sometimes the guys I go with, they'll go in it, and I'm like, I'm not going, and they go in there and they run up and down the creek and check for tracks and look for things. And then they come back and we'll be talking about it, and we'll have the map out on the hood of the vehicle. And with that, now I know, but then I didn't. They're leaning on the vehicle and, pointing things out. And then I'll come around to the side of the vehicle and I'll lean where they leaned. And I get poison oak, secondhand poison oak, and I get it bad all over. go home and take a hot shower, and then it gets all over you, in your ears and everywhere, and it goes through the steam. So a little tip for you squatchers: if you go out into areas where there's poison ivy, poison oak, and you know there is, even if you don't think you got in it, go home, and when you get home, strip down and put your clothes right in the wash, and then get in the shower and take a lukewarm shower. Don't steam it up. As cool, take as cool as you can handle it, and soap up real good. And use a Fells naphtha soap if you can. That will take the oils off of you. But if you steam it up, even with Fells naphtha soap, you're gonna have it all over you. Even if it was only on your arms and on your clothes and hands and stuff, you're gonna, if you are susceptible to poison oak. Some people aren't. A lot of people I know are, though, and only a few aren't. So that's a little tip for the guy that got poison oak all his life and wound up in the hospital. I can't even take steroid shots anymore. They've done so many of them. They told me that in my records, it shows how many shots that I had. It starts to deteriorate your hips and joints and stuff like that. So no more shots for me. They won't even give me the shots. So I have to really pay attention now, even more than I ever did, because no more shots. Yeah. Wow. Two black helicopters following one another. That would be, yeah. It would be a good place for UFOs and Bigfoot if you see that. We had an AWAC flying around over here. The last time there was an AWAC flying over here, my son, who lives up in the foothills, he saw a UFO that it was like a round edge on the front, and the back was like the bat boomerang or whatever you call it, scalloped on two scallops, and it went right by him. It was flying through Jose Basin, and right behind it was a AWAC. And as he was about to turn off, he realized there was a bunch of sheriffs and fire personnel, government cars. They all passed him going 90 miles an hour, following those things. So yeah, when you see those things, definitely start looking up and around and be aware of what's going on, because something could be really close. Well, me and Adolf went out, and we went all up and down Redinger Lake. I actually found a sign. It said Bigfoot crossing, and I have video of this. I have some video. I will edit it into it's not going to be real long, but I'll edit down to, I don't know, 10-minute little video showing where we went and some of the places, some of the people that we met. And I'll probably have that up tomorrow. I'll upload it to YouTube so you guys can check it out and see what I'm talking about. I was gonna run the clips on here, but with this new Streamlab OBD or OBS or whatever it's called, I'm not sure how to do it. So I'm just gonna do what I normally do, but I'm looking forward to finding out how to use that thing and really using the software as best I can. I missed that show, so I have no idea about that one, but I did catch the show where he talked to the daughter of a guy that had a girl with him, and the girl supposedly was taken by Bigfoot and nobody's ever seen her again. That one intrigued me because, and actually, I didn't, somebody alerted me to it. I wasn't watching it. Somebody alerted me to it and said, I need to go turn that on and listen. So I missed the first part of it. But what was intriguing about it is where this occurred, where this girl disappeared and was never found again, was the same year that I had my very first Bigfoot encounter and sighting. And I didn't believe in Bigfoot until then. It was the same year, 1987. It also is the same year that my teacher, that is in the first 411 book, named James Arthur, Colonel James Arthur, disappeared. And even more weird, it's in the same area, within a few miles. So where she went missing and where I saw Bigfoot for the first time and where my teacher disappeared, we don't know if it was Bigfoot that took him or anything, but he disappeared too, just like her, right outside the Yosemite boundary. Jackass Meadow, Shut Eye Mountain, right. They were along the Chiquita Creek. I was above Chiquita Creek. The teacher, so I was the farthest away from where the girl disappeared from. I was higher up. I was more closer. In fact, I was like right near Jackass Meadow, above Jackass Meadow by a half a mile. She was maybe, as the crow flies, 4 miles below, down the mountain. And my teacher was maybe 2 miles or 1 mile from Jackass Meadow below. So he was like in between where I saw the first Bigfoot I ever saw and where that girl disappeared. So that was a very, very interesting show. In fact, because I came in late, I watched, after it was over, I turned it on and I watched it again because it was really, that was a good show. Real informative. It just makes me that much more cautious. I mean, that's where I grew up and I like to camp. And it just makes you that much more, don't let any kids go around the tree out of your sight, not even if the tree's 5 feet away. They'll go behind the tree and you won't see them again, like in the 411 books. Just really makes you think. Really, it makes you think. And it makes you a trippy think. So that one was, wow, Woolly Burger, that is trippy. 1969, huh? Have you guys noticed, like, I'm noticing something. I was talking to somebody about the Dogman and orbs. There's this UFO or orb, or whatever you want to call it. Lately, like the last 3 years, say now 5 years ago, the UFOs were off the hook. Bigfoot was off the hook. Up in the hills, we found where they live up in the hills, but we really had no sightings down in the valley away from the mountains, near cities or in cities. In the last 3 years, Bigfoots are running all over the place, down in the valley, along the rivers, along the creeks, any green areas, wild 5-acre areas, 2.5-acre areas they hang out. Lots more animal kills and unexplained animal kills. Dogman sightings off the hook, where a dogman sighting around here was nearly unheard of. Just every few years you would hear of a dogman. And now in the last 6 months, 5. And been chasing Bigfoot all up and down in populated, heavily populated areas. I mean, right in little cities, even right downtown. In fact, the police guy was saying that they were seeing things in this one town around 3 or 4 in the morning, tall black things running down the street. And it would get away from them, so they don't know what it was. They never could figure out what it was, or they're not saying, they're not saying. But everything, now these orbs, the color is like a greenish turquoise, aqua type color. I've heard like several reservations around us regularly are seeing these things, and they're usually flying down little canyons where there's a river or a large creek, and they're right above the treetops. And I mean off the hook, like before you would hear about it once a year, maybe 2. Sometimes you wouldn't hear any at all. Now everybody you talk to is seeing them. It seems weird to me. Okay, now that said, the climate of say how the news is and how people are going nuts about Trump and all that stuff. I mean, everybody's crazy. I mean, people are going crazy. So is all this related? Everybody's unhinged. Bigfoot's running all over people's houses in these cities, jumping house to house, eating out of their garbage cans, running up and down rivers. Dogman is right behind him or in the same areas as Bigfoot where the Dogman are being seen. I mean, the exact same areas, almost like they're together or something. I mean, something's going on. I'm wondering if it's a related thing. You guys will have to let me know what you think on that, because it seems like everything is just on steroids or more than I ever could imagine. In fact, it's almost spooky, scary, kind of. Pretty scary. Man, 8 feet tall. I hear, now I haven't seen a Dogman, but I've talked to now 6 or 8 people plus their families that saw it, and they were saying the same thing. Willie Booger, the thing is massive. They say it's bony hands, bony long fingers with claws, and really massive in the chest area, but really skinny in the waist and legs. But the legs are really muscular, but the waist and stomach kind of like is skinny, like built like a dog, kind of, how they're bigger. But yeah, they're saying the same thing, like 7, 8 feet tall. and they say they walk funny, like their legs move different, kind of weird, and they also can jump far, leaping, almost like what was I was thinking there. I had a, oh man, like Spider-Man. You know, in the movie Spider-Man, when he's jumping up buildings and across buildings, and not using his web slingy thing, but it's special effects is what it is. But how they jump real far, it jumps like that, and it's getting really ridiculously crazy. I don't even know what to think about it. And then I was talking to Ghost Wolf. He's seeing things off off the hook out where he's at. And I believe him. We've been talking about it for a few years now, and I'm not sure if everybody else could see what Ghost Wolf is seeing, because he has, I don't know if you want to call it a curse or a gift, but he's able to see these things, and everyone else normally can't. I don't know if other people are seeing them or they're just not looking in the right direction. I have no idea, but I believe him because he's not the only one that says that has these stories. They have them not maybe as prolific as how he has them, but I do hear them, and they're on the uprise or uptick or too, and it's, I don't know what to think about it. A smart blonde and a Bigfoot? I have no idea. And how you doing, Candy Strap? Western Nevada, Western New York Bigfoot? How are you? I walk in the fog. I'm safe everywhere I go. I don't even need a gun. I got the Holy Spirit with me. Wow. So the man, Renee, that is creepy. That's creepy. So it had your dad's voice. Oh my gosh, that would freak me out so bad. Western New York, cool. Yeah, the thing's starting to fly too fast for I can't catch it as fast. The chat is. That is really something. Aliens do that too. The same thing what you're talking about, Renee. Aliens do that. They can shape shift into relatives and look just like them. So you really do got to be careful. And Bigfoot, yes, Bigfoot, he doesn't shape shift into your relative, but they can throw their voice and make it sound like somebody that you're with when you're in the woods, and they'll say your name. I don't know how many times I've heard my name called, and I mean, it's creepy. You hear your name called. I don't know if they're trying to like lure me in. It doesn't work though. I hear my name called. I don't go running towards my name out into the woods. That's for sure. It is really freaky, scary, freaky. In fact, my whole idea of what Bigfoots were when I first started, I thought they were biological, bleeding, non-dimensional, animals, ape things running around. Over the years, though, of after talking to people and witnessing things like how fast they can run, how they could go straight up a a rock cliff. I mean, something we would need ropes and cretons and everything to go up it. They go right up it like an elevator. And I've seen that. They go through in the middle of the night. They run through several hundred yards of brush and trees that you can't even hardly walk through, and they do it in seconds. And it is so it's like my idea of what they were when I first started learning about it is like way down the road from what I'm thinking they are now. It's really crazy. And I don't even think aliens are extraterrestrial anymore. Another thing that I'm learning is the aliens, I really don't believe they don't come from other places. I think they're here, and they've been here before us. And only thing is, they are interdimensional. They can go into another realm, and I have a feeling while they're in that realm, they could still see and hear us and everything. I actually believe we were created to be that way, and we screwed up, and we lost it, the ability. And one day we'll have that back, and we'll be able to see all those realms that we were really created to see. It's really crazy. I believe they are. I believe, like aliens, for instance. Exactly, Bolt Gun. Exactly. They do. They never tell the truth. But do you ever notice, like the gray aliens, for instance, they all look the same. There is no females or males. They have no sex organs. I don't even think they have any ability at all to procreate. They are engineered, bioengineered. And I actually was doing some research on it. Adolf has a handprint that was on his car, and they have these little suction things on their fingers. And I've been researching it ever since I met Adolf, probably like 2012 or something like that. And I mean, totally intrigued in the handprint that he has, the pictures of the handprint. Somebody told me they are frogs. Like frogs have those little suction cup on the end of their feet, or whatever you want to call them, on their, whatever they are. Somebody said they're created from frog DNA because of those little, the way their hands are made, the way they look even. It's interesting. I don't know if that's for real or not, but it is something to think about, and also to follow up on research about. They could be from, I mean, part of the, I mean, it could be from all different kinds of animals' DNA. Who knows? They could take, I mean, they take human DNA, they take cow DNA. Who's to say they don't take reptilian DNA, amphibian DNA? I mean, we don't know the full scope of what they're doing, and they'll not tell you. I'll tell you that right now. They'll tell you something, but the more you research, the more you find out everything they tell you has a little bit of truth in it, and it's mostly not true. Yeah, that's what they're demons saying, that they're extraterrestrials. That's what I think. And when you research these demons, you research demons, you find out they have all the same powers that an alien has. And there's no question. All the religions going all the way back as far as you can read, even in stone, talk about it, and they've had these powers and they've been there. There's no question on that. Even scientists and scholars will tell you this. So it's an interesting thing to look at, and it's really interesting. That's why I do this, is because I want to get to the bottom of it. I'm not here to be a famous YouTube person, but I am here because to get out here and make friends with everyone, like Woollyberg, everybody that's in the chat right now. Most everybody in here had encounters with something, or they heard of it, or they know somebody that did, and they are actively looking for it. And maybe they're not able to go out and find it in their area, but they are looking at it in the internet, and they're learning as much as they can. And the more we interact and talk about it and share, the more we can put a puzzle together. And it's so cool that we have the internet. Before the internet, I actually did not know there was anyone in my area that saw Bigfoot. And I was going crazy, going up looking for him, and my friends were calling me wacko, crazy, lunatic, and I don't care. They could call me, I know what I saw, I know what I saw. And I would take them out there, and I would show them evidence, tracks, and stuff, and they would tell me, they would deny it right to my face, even with the evidence right there in front of them, staring them in the face. They would not believe me. But when the internet hit, oh man, I started learning there was people in my own town that saw, even though I live in a town that has 500,000 people, there is lots of people that saw Bigfoots and UFOs and had all kinds of encounters. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I'll talk about it. Nobody's got the $1 million yet. Somebody got $100,000 for nothing. Remember that? The $100,000 Bigfoot show? Somebody got $100,000 for nothing. I do believe, though, the race is on and technology will catch up. It's getting easier and easier now that there's FLIR technology, because it doesn't shoot a beam out to that alerts them that you're looking at them and recording them. They have no idea unless they can read your thoughts, and that might be something they can do when you start looking at native lore and talking, like the guy that had that girl with her and she disappeared. He had been researching Bigfoot for years, 1980, in the 80s, and they have pictures of him. They talked about the mind speak. They can speak to you mind to mind. Aliens can speak to you mind to mind. So there's all these things that they have in common. It's just it's an interesting time to live. And I believe Woollyberger you can probably prove it. I believe the government already knows without a shadow of a doubt. I think they've already had hundreds of them. My friend, when was it? Mount St. Helens blew up, 1982, 1981. something like that. And I didn't believe in Bigfoot at the time, but had some weird encounters in the woods in Oregon around Crater Lake, Klamath Falls area. But when Mount St. Helens blew up, one of my friends, he was a hot shot. They called him up to search for people that might be still alive after the volcano blew up, Mount St. Helens. When he got to the area where he was to report, he got stopped by the military guard, and there was a helicopter sitting there idling, and on the ground, he thought it was a big net full of bears, big rope nets. And he said, about 250 yards away. And they told him he was just stay where he is, talking to the guard. And when they give him the all clear, then he could go over there and sign in and get his whatever he was going to do. A few minutes later, the helicopter spins up to speed, starts lifting off, and as it goes up, it starts turning towards him and gaining altitude, and the net went only like 8 feet above his head, 8 to 10 feet above his head, and he could actually see the hands and feet hanging out of the nets. And I laughed at him and made fun of him. I am so sorry. If you're hearing me, I can't remember his name. If you're hearing me, man, I am so sorry. Because a few years later, I had my own encounter with a live one. I'll tell you right now. And I am so sorry that I made fun of you, man. I really am. I wish I could take that back. But I did it. I was an idiot. How's it going, Protean? I don't know. The evil people are crazy right now. You see Whoopi Goldberg go off? I hope she gets fired. They're the ones stirring it up. The media, these people that are famous and can get a lot of attention, they're the ones stirring it all up. And actually, you know, the kids, when Barack Obama was first put in office, they were 10, 9, 8 years old. Now they're nearing adulthood or in adulthood, and they don't even have any idea of what it was like before. This is what they grew up in, and now they run around with face masks on, beating on people. I mean, it's crazy. Crazy. The world is going crazy. It is insane. We're winning. I actually believe we're winning. And here I am talking about it. We are winning. I have friends that are fighting the good fight on the inside, and I can't say their names, but they say we're winning, and we're winning more than we know. We're winning more than we know. In fact, they told me that I don't know if you've seen the news clip with Trump where the light went down and then came back on. That was, they said, when you see I guess Q said he wasn't going to post anymore. So Q's done posting. But on one of his last posts, he said, when you see the lights go out, you know we're still in charge. So take that to heart. When you see the lights go out. He also said, keep your eye on the ball. Did you see Putin hand President Trump a ball? And I didn't get it. I didn't get that post where he said, keep your eye on the ball. Well, when you start researching that ball, you find out it's like a flash drive, only bigger, like a hard drive flash drive. Interesting stuff. And I can't tell you who I learned that from. But it's there. All you have to do is go research it and you'll find out. I'm not lying. Yeah, I read that. I don't know about that. If he was JFK Jr., he'd have to be hanging with Trump because all the pictures that are taken that he put on his posts are like in the Air Force One, in China, in North Korea, in, all around. There's too many people around Trump. It would be too easy for him to slip up and somebody see him and know him for who he is. So I'm not sure about that. All I do know is, as Q said, when everybody finds out who it is, we're all going to be tripping out. And he also said that 11/11, November 11th, what is that? Memorial Day, I think. That's when everything's going to be revealed. Yes, sir, James. We're praying for you. And been praying for you. Hey, Javier. I was talking about where we went the other night. Really nothing. Anything happen when you were out there? Did you guys make it out there? I couldn't make it out there with you guys. I've been really busy, but I did make it out with Adolf yesterday, and it was pretty fun. I had a really great time. And we had all this stuff too ready. Like we had some hearing devices so that you could hear. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, I have a feeling, Javier, that after when we went out there and we seen all the people and the lanterns and everybody out there real late, I have a feeling that the place is inundated with people right now. We even way back, we were way out on the backside of Redinger Lake, and there was people from LA out there jumping off a rope swing and putting their boats all over the place. It I mean, there's a lot of people, so they might be staying a little more hidden than normal. But once the heat is gone and vacations are over, things should get back to normal, or we need to be out there like Tuesday night, Wednesday night, on nights where there's not going to be that many people out there. But the weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, going to be crazy to try to do anything out there. Hi, Christina. How are you? It's good to see everybody. I'm almost done with my studio, you guys. I am so close. Watts Valley. Yep. Where I want to go is Sawmill Flats. I keep on hearing things about Sawmill Flats. Over the last month or two, I've heard there's a bunch of Bigfoot sightings. Another one is Tamarack Ridge. Tamarack Ridge and Sawmill Flats keep coming up over and over and over and over. I want to get out there and go to those. You know what, I'm going to be over in Jackson November 2nd and November 2nd and 3rd. I'll be speaking at the Paracon. in Jackson, November 2nd or either November 2nd or November 3rd. I'm only going to speak one day though. So and I'm not going to spend the night, probably not, cuz I'll be guest speaking over there and I'll have a booth. So if you guys can come over there, we don't, the tickets aren't for sale yet. They don't have they don't have the website up. But as soon as the website's up and everything, I'll put the link up. And anybody that could go over there, you could come and sit down with me. I'm going to build a little studio in the booth and we could sit down and talk. If they have Wi-Fi, we'll go live. If they don't, then I'll just record. And I'm also going to interview some of the guest speakers. So I'll be over there November 2nd, and maybe I might spend the night, but it's probably, if I do, it's going to be in Sacramento. I'll be going on BZ's show and be in studio with BZ. He's in Sacramento, and that's not real far. I may even stay over there. Good night, Christina. It was good seeing you for the minute. Bigfoots act like cats. They meow and everything. Yeah, BZ's going to show up. There'll be quite a few people. Yeah, and well, Adolf, what was the one that you said yesterday? Oh man, I can't remember the name of the lake. That's why I want to do some night watches over there, sky watches. It's not Eastman Lake, right? Which one was it that you said? Oh man, yeah, Mendota Slough. I used to go out there all the time, catfishing, stay all night, all the time. In fact, we used to go rabbit hunting out there, and you could eat. Yeah, Hensley Lake. I want to do some sky watches at Hensley Lake before winter hits. At least 3 of them out there. Yeah, I'll as it gets closer and he has the information all set in stone and the website up to buy tickets. I heard it's going to be limited tickets for the event because he only could have so many. So I'm gonna really start as soon as it starts coming up. Every show I'm gonna have links. I got this new studio software where I can put a crawl and everything across, and I'm gonna have all that where I can place links and things so that people that are in those areas or even here that wants to travel or ride the train, they can. Yeah, it's going to be good. I heard it's going to be really good. They're going to have a ghost hunt and all kinds of stuff. There's some kind of a masquerade ball. I mean, all kinds of things. It's going to be pretty fun. I just may stay for the whole thing and then do BZ's show a few days later and just stay in the area up there like a week. But I'm not all sure. Not everything is set in stone. But what is set in stone is November 2nd and 3rd. I will have a booth. I don't really have any merchandise to sell. And I wasn't really thinking about doing any merchandise or and asking everybody for donations or anything. Only I'm rethinking that after yesterday. There's one more piece of equipment I need, and it's a drone. And yesterday I thought, oh my God, we're in this place. So I have some video of it. I'll put it in that little video. But if I would have had a drone, I think I would have maybe found some Bigfoot caves. And it doesn't mean I can't go back and search that side of that mountain with a drone and see if I can't find the caves. Now that I heard how they do the caves and I know what to look for, I'm gonna get a drone for sure, and I'll start. I'm gonna start saving for it. If you guys want to help me buy the drone, I have a PayPal link. Help me out. Help me get my studio with a drone in it, and let's you build drones. Oh man, I need a really good drone. I would love to have FLIR on that drone or be able to interchange it because I want to fly it at night too. I'm working on this new software I have has a store built into it, so I'm gonna work on doing Squatch Zone, but it's just gonna be the word Squatch Zone, not anything fancy. I'm not an artist. I wish I was. Yeah, Wish on Lake. I just talked to a guy. It's not a long time ago, maybe 2.5 months ago. He was on the other side of Wishon Lake on a trail, and he came face to face with a Bigfoot, and he was a total not believer of Bigfoot. And he came around the bend, and the Bigfoot was right in his way, and he is now a believer of Bigfoot. And now he's a researcher too, like he wants to see it again now. So it is a cool place. And I want to travel too. I want to go and meet everyone. Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, Louisiana, Colorado, Montana, Washington, Oregon. I want to travel around and meet everybody and go squatching with everyone. And how much I make a month, I think I figured it out. I had to fill out some paperwork this week. $852 a month. That's how much I make. Hardly enough to where I could save anything, but I can save. Sometimes I can buy things cheap and then resell them on Craigslist and stuff like that, and I can make a little bit of money and save. Like I put $40 away just to buy things and then fix them up and turn around and sell them for a little more. And I just keep doing that and building and building and building until I have enough. It takes a long time though. It might be risky. It might be. But they have these FLIR now that are around $250. How much is a good high definition camera cost that goes on those? Where they put what do they put on them? Heroes, GoPros, is that what they call it? I was doing that. I only thing is when you do a drawing, it has to be turned into a certain kind of file. I have a t-shirt guy, and I could get t-shirts for $1. I could get hoodies for $1. Any kind, any weight, male, female, children's, everything $1, whatever, $1 a piece. I was talking to the people that do the printing on them, and it has to be a certain kind of files, especially if it's going to be different colors. They have to separate the colors, so the files have to be separated, and I do not have the software for that or know how to. I thought about that. I'm pretty good. I build my own computers and stuff like that all the time, and fix people's laptops, and I've been even doing a little bit of cell phone work. It's not really that difficult. A little more tedious, and it's easier to break stuff. Hey Daytona, what's up? How's the beach over there? I like your videos. I haven't tuned in lately though. I the same with Woolly Booger and everybody that does the videos. I usually am up on everybody's videos, but I've been slacking. while I fix up my house, repainting and carpeting, and oh man, it never ends, and everything's so dingy. After you finish one room, you just got to do the other room because everything else is dingy. Then my wife is loving it. She didn't realize how dingy it was, and she's one of those ones where you can like take an item and turn it, walk by and just turn it, and go on, and she'll come walking by, and all of a sudden she has this like radar, that's out of place, and then go over there and turn it back. So when so when the things get nice and painted and clean, she really likes that. She likes the clean. She'll vacuum so like if somebody's coming over, a relative or a friend, and she knows they're coming in advance, even though it was vacuumed and the floor is fine, she'll re-vacuum it, and the lines and everything has to be, just so. Yeah, always tripping. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Willy Burger. I agree about that. When you're out there and you're not paying attention, you're paying attention to what you're doing, like gold panning or dredging or running it down the sluice box or digging up the stuff out of the little cracks and stuff like that. You're not paying attention to what's around you. It could get pretty scary. You turn around and you run, smack into them. It's not fun. Not fun. Yeah, I mean that's why I didn't shoot the first Bigfoot I saw. I could have. I had a 300 Weatherby Magnum with my own loads in it, and I could shoot 5. I always sighted my rifles in with a cold barrel because when I was hunting, my barrel was cold. So I would shoot 2 or 3 shots, and then I would let the barrel cool off, and then shoot 2 or 3 shots, let the barrel cool off. So I loaded my loads for a cold barrel, and I could shoot 3 or 4 shots, and I could cover it up with a dime at 300 yards. And I know I could have took out that Bigfoot. Maybe not. He was running pretty fast. I mean, really, really fast. And what went through my mind was when you shoot something, you're supposed to go up and keep your eye, don't take your eye off it, and then nudge it and kick it, and especially with the barrel, mess it with its head, bump its head, and try to make it get awake. And if it's awake, shoot it again. And I was thinking, here I am, shot a Bigfoot, fell on the ground, and go up there and making sure it's dead while the other one runs up behind you and pops your head off or something, or rips your arm off and starts beating you with it. I mean, that's why I didn't shoot. And I never saw a Bigfoot before, but I've shot many animals that have come back awake. They fell over and you thought they were dead, and all of a sudden they get up and take off running like a bear, a deer, and run for a mile and then fall down dead again. And you got to track them. And I've had them even attack, and you wind up shooting them a couple times as you're walking up on them to make sure they're dead. So that was what was going through my mind. It was like, shoot. And even though my buddy was yelling, don't shoot him, in my mind, it was like, shoot him. But then I thought about it. What if it gets up? So now I'm not, and then what if it's down and I've got my full attention on it, and then the other one comes out, or the other 3? I don't even know how many there are. All I know is if there's one, there's more. And I don't want to know the other ones. Especially if I shot one, that they're not going to be nice at all. Yeah, poke them in the eye. That's right, bolt gun. Poke them in the eye, because that hurts, and if they're like dazed or something, they will flat jump up and get you or try to. That's no lie. That is exactly what I was taught. Shoot, poke them in the eye. Yep. I have too. We have done it. We've had them come awake. We had a friend that shot a bear, and it was his first bear hunt. He wasn't a hunter or anything. We helped him pick out a 30-06 and everything, and he shot this bear. And we took our friend that has bear dogs, and how we were doing it this time was the bears would chase, or the dogs would chase the bear up the tree, and it kind of wasn't as fun as how we do it, tracking him and stuff like that, and sneaking up on him if you can. But they would tree him, and then you just shoot it out of the tree, and it falls down, and you get your bear. Well, the bear fell out of the tree. The guy was just happy that he got a bear. He ran up there, and we told him he had to clean his own bear, gut it, and everything. And he ran up there. But he forgot about the poking it in the eye and kicking it at it and stuff like that. And he went and stuck it with the knife. It was dead. It really was dead. But its last, you know how they move, like even when they're dead, they do stuff. Like they're alive. I mean, it's creepy, but it grabbed him. He was all bent down there with the knife and stuck it in there and was getting ready to gut it. And all of a sudden that bear just went whoa, and grabbed him like that and had him. That guy freaked out. And when we got the paws off him and he stood up, he threw his rifle down and he ran for his car and he left without saying a word. He never went hunting again. Poor guy. I did, though. And I laughed and laughed and laughed. And every time I thought about that, I laughed. Yes, he did. He hit a nerve. Have you guys watched that one guy? I don't know what his name is on here. He has a Bigfoot head. He supposedly has a Bigfoot all cut up. Supposedly the Bigfoot raped him. And he has a baby with a Bigfoot. It's a weird dude. Weird. He's a dog trainer, I think. I ran into some videos of his, and man, if he's an artist, he's making some really killer looking stuff that looks real. And then some of it is stupid, just flat out stupid. The Bigfoot jumped down and was looking to rape him. I mean, I don't know what to think about the guy, really. I don't. He's in New York, and he's supposedly making a Bigfoot museum and has 2 or 3 Bigfoots frozen, and they've been frozen for 50 years or something like that. I watched a few of the videos, but I had to stop because I was laughing so hard. I never laughed so much for a long time. I haven't laughed that long for a long time. That he had me busting up. My stomach was hurting. It was just too hilariously funny. I wanted to ask you guys what you think about that guy. And the ones that aren't watching live, in the comments, put your comment and let me know what you think. I read the comments. Yeah, he's a dog trainer, yeah. And he has birds too. He trains pigeons and stuff like that. I mean, he's totally off the wall, but when you look at the things that he's presenting, yeah, frozen Bigfoot dog trainer guy, yep. But when you look at the things that he's showing and presenting of the Bigfoot variety, who could make that like that, or have the money to make something like that, or the time to make all the different things that he's brought out? It's pretty trippy. Yeah. Or the other one was the watermelon head kids, and He thought the girl watermelon head kid was cute. Man, I laughed and laughed and laughed. I can't stop laughing. I can't even watch. I can't watch his videos right now because I just, as soon as he starts acting serious and it's totally stupid, I just start busting up. I can't take it. Oh man. Hi Pam. But I wonder, is it real? Is he really showing real? There's some things that's hard to fake. Like as it melts, it looks like old blood in melt water. I mean, I've killed a lot of things and froze things and cut up things. I was a butcher for a little while. So it looks, I mean, that stuff's hard to fake. He's way better than Hollywood, whatever he's doing. But some of the stuff totally looks fake. Like the little watermelon boy head thing, that is fake. And the Bigfoot penis, I think, is fake. You know, when he's milking, he's like, it's coming, yeah, it's coming. Oh my God. I laughed for almost 2 hours at that one. Oh, wow. The one that Tom Biscardi, I knew it was fake as soon as I looked at it in the ice. It looked like a monkey suit that frozen. That's what it looked like to me. As soon as I saw it, it looked fake. I can't believe he got faked out. If he ever saw a Bigfoot for real or pictures of a Bigfoot, he should have knew right away. And I think he did know, and I think he was gonna scam people with it. And I think he tried to scam people with it, and only they wanted to unfreeze it, and that's when they got him. There is a lot of fakes, and that's what makes it so hard on the people that do it for reals. Yeah, well, so were the guys that supposedly he paid 50,000 for that thing from hoaxers, and then the dude did it again and said he shot another one. He had some pretty convincing looking video too. And he made a Bigfoot that looked real, but then later he showed that how he made it. It had a wooden frame inside of it. I mean, and that one looked like it looked fake to me too. Don't get me wrong. I thought that one looked fake. And I couldn't believe everybody was believing this Rick Dyer guy one more time either. That was, I mean, fool me once, shame on whatever, however that saying goes. But the second time, now, come on. That's the one bolt gun that I'm talking about. Me too, man. I swear I couldn't even breathe. That guy, I never laughed so hard in my life for a long time. That one got me laughing, man. He grabbed that thing and fell off, fell over. Yeah, it looks real. Really does. Some of it, it's fake, but some of it, wow. How could you fake that? Really? And he vacillates between absolute nuts to absolute sounding not nuts. I mean, he goes from one extreme to the other. You don't know how he's going to be. He says he's going to show something. He has an alien now. He's going to show a frozen alien. Now, I have a feeling it's going to be fake. Because I think he's getting a bazillion views with, and he's having fun with it. But I was wondering now if some of it's real. If it's real, maybe if you act so freaking stupid, like a lunatic, the government will leave you alone and think you're hoaxing. So, I mean, it might be that there's a method to his madness. Yeah. Yeah, he is good. I noticed that too. In fact, he helped with our dog. Some of the stuff he said that we actually used on our dogs, and it works. Yeah, that's it. Peter Kane, that's the guy. He's way smarter than he acts. Yep. Well, you have to be smart to play that stupid, first of all, and do the things you do with your dogs and birds and all that stuff. He has to be a pretty intelligent guy. Some of it, and I think that's the method to his madness, is he wants everybody to think that he's joking, even though he scolds everybody for trolling him, for being an idiot. That just makes him seem like some wackadoodle guy. And maybe that's to keep the feds and everybody from going over there and really trying to get what he has, even though he's really showing the real thing. I mean, I never seen things. It has arteries and veins sticking out in the right places that would be hard to create, and then have the right color of watered down blood and the sinew on the meat. And really, I mean, how would you make something like that? It's interesting, and it is funny. It could be that. I mean, I know if he has the money and there's people, they could make stuff like that. They could. But you don't. It's like who is it? Thinker Thunker says all the Bigfoots running around that people are videotaping. So where's the guy? Where's the guy that made these really good looking suits? Where are they? If they're that good, they'd be bragging about it by now, that they made that suit and got everybody. But there's so many videos of Bigfoot that to me look pretty real, and there's nobody saying that they make these really great suits. Jeffrey bought one for $1,500 and had it handmade. It took 2 years to make it, and it doesn't even look that great. And the guy is a Hollywood design artist, and you could tell it's a suit. You could tell when Jeffrey puts it on, it's a suit. You could tell. Yeah. He also did that other one where the Bigfoot threw the tree. Did you see that one? Where the Bigfoot pulled the tree out of the ground and then threw it 80 feet. That one, that has to be something. That's abnormally strong. I don't think a man could do it. A full tree, pull it out of the ground and then toss it like a javelin, all in one stroke, one movement. I don't know if you guys seen that video. Yeah, you guys seen the suit Jeffrey has? I mean, it's one of the better ones I've seen, but it looks fake. I have some pictures of it. I'll have to share. Yeah, he's having problems. I think his is really heat messing with him. I went over there and shot recently. We had an opportunity to he had an opportunity to shoot a pilot, and we went over there and shot it. I didn't think it was shot right. I think we were off topic of what they wanted. We needed to be more specific. But it's his gig. I was just only helping him. That's all I've ever done really with Jeff is help him. I started off helping him, and I really think he means well, but sometimes it's a bit annoying. But I really believe he means well. And he's still a pretty good friend. Just there's a way to be famous, and then there's a way to keep yourself from being famous. And he's really good at the keep yourself from being famous part. And one day that light will come on, and he might just make it to famous. Only I have a feeling that to be famous, you gotta sign a contract, and I'll never sign that contract ever. I'm in the Finding Bigfoot. I'm in the Sierra Spy, and they actually make fun of me, even though I worked with them all week. Now, I actually worked with the production company all week. I was not scheduled to be on the show. I was the fixer, or they didn't want to call me fixer because then they would have had to pay me more money. But actually, that's the job I was doing, was the fixer job. But they said I was a PA, production assistant. But I actually was the fixer. I set everything up before they even got here in the valley. But then when they heard about what we had, the windows and stuff like that, and then they tried to recreate it with the human hands. There was actually handprints on the window with thumb marks going down. They didn't even address that part. They were just saying, can the knuckles and the palm touch like how it did on the windows, and show the fingernails and stuff like that. And they didn't believe me. But only, I don't care what they believe. So far, every show I like on Monsters and Mysteries, that one where I'm in Bigfoot Wars, Evil Gnomes, and Hellhounds. That's the title of Monsters and Mysteries. And I thought that I was going to tell the story of the Bigfoot Wars. I didn't know that there was other people that knew about it besides tribal members. But Kathy Strain knew, and she has a lot of dealings with the locals around here, local tribal members and tribes. And she had learned the Bigfoot War story. Well, I had no idea that she was telling the story. They were at her place getting that story from her. And they told me that's what story they wanted from me. And I told them the whole Bigfoot War story, exactly word for word, exactly what Kathy Strain says is exactly what I told them. So they got 2 Bigfoot War stories from 2 different people that didn't even know each other, which I thought was interesting. And when I saw the show, I was blown away that she was saying the story word for right. And then they wanted to talk about the windows, and with, Jeff bringing the windows. So we talked about, I told them they didn't use any of the Bigfoot War story from me in the episode. But there was a point where they were asking me about my sighting, and the cameras are all set up, but I didn't know they were rolling. And I was getting into it, and I was telling them my sighting. And then when we were talking about the windows, I knew it was rolling. Well, when the edited version came out, it mix the story between my actual first Bigfoot encounter and the Windows story. They kind of melded them together. So it it was kind of a little bit of a letdown because they did that, but at least the major points and chronological order kind of like they stayed with it, and that was good. At least, I mean, I wasn't embarrassed what they said. I was a little more embarrassed with finding Bigfoot than them. And then on chasing UFOs, I didn't even want to be behind the camera. I was a fixer. They called me a PA again, but I actually was the fixer again. I set up all the shooting locations. Before they even got to here, I was running around taking pictures of shooting locations, lining up the permits, hotel accommodations, rental cars, all that stuff. That's a fixer. That's not a PA. A PA is a guy that carries and lugs equipment and cleans cars, takes make sure there's water bottles and snacks in the car and stuff like that. That's what a PA does. Does all the little gopher runaround stuff while they're here. I didn't do none of that. I stood around and watched the PAs, but I didn't do none of that. So I was the fixer. But I don't really care. It was fun. I got paid to hang out with Bobo and all those guys. I got paid to hang out with James Fox and Aaron Ryder and all them for a whole 2 weeks. I had a great time, and I got paid to have a great time and stand around. The one I saw was, it looked like a man. From a distance, it looked like a man. It walked like a man. It moved like a man. I believed it was a man. I didn't have anything to size comparison it because I didn't know I didn't know the size of the bushes that it was walking through because I hadn't walked through them yet to know that they were 3 feet above my head. I had no idea. Everything looked normal, like a man. It was standing straight up. It was not clunky and bent over. It wasn't a knuckle dragger. He was swinging his arms naturally. Maybe even that was, maybe that's something that when it was swinging its arms, I thought that was a little bit exaggerated, a little bit, especially when it took off running. It was over exaggerated a lot when it ran, how it was swinging its arms. But I thought it looked like a man. Then when it got close, I realized that it was the strongest looking man I ever saw. It had muscles on muscles on muscles. It was graceful. It was powerful. And it was smart. It did things that that it was cognitive thinking and outthinking me even at that point. And that's when I realized that they are the apex predator of the woods. I'm not. They could take me anytime they want. Even I could have all the guns and everything I want on me. That will not stop them. They can sneak up on me and be just like how when you're bow hunting and stuff like that, how you creep up on your prey and you get within slapping distance where you could slap the animal. They can do that to you. And we think that we're smart enough where they can't do that, but we're not. I don't know. Is he black? Usually, everybody I don't know too many Thomases. All my relatives, all my relatives are that have the Thomas name are all back in North Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, and most of the people that I ever meet that have the last name Thomas are black. And I heard there's rumors, there's rumors that I could possibly be that too, a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. And I'm not saying that to demean anyone or any race or anything like that. I like everybody. You're talking about Dave Thomas, Wendy's Dave Thomas, the hamburger guy. The scientists know. They have bodies of them. That's why they blow people away, and they don't want to work on the DNA. They already know. They've already sequenced the DNA a whole bunch of times. They may have live ones somewhere that they know already. For instance, there's a valley. You can go on Google Earth and check this. East of Fresno, there's a valley called Evolution Valley. Write that down. Evolution Valley, east of Fresno. It's near Sequoia Kings National Parks. All the mountain ridges, the mountains around this valley are named after primate scientists, predominant primate scientists. Why? There's no primates in the mountains. So why would that area be named after primate scientists? And if you know me, you know what I'm getting at. That means there's apes in them there canyons. Same as like around Mount St. Helens, Ape Canyon, Ape Caves. So, and we wanted to do expeditions into this Evolution Valley. From what I understand, they have footage, film footage, movie film footage, the government does, and have been filming them for years upon years and studying them so far back that when they named the mountains, they named them after primatologists. And I heard they have their whole lives documented, having babies, raising the babies, eating, what they do, all. And the problem is getting into Evolution Valley, it's in a glacier region. So you can't even hike in there until I would say late August to somewhere around middle of October, maybe. And that's the only window of opportunity you have to go hike in there. And I can't hike in there anymore. Maybe I could horseback in. I don't know. That's something that makes me mad. I fought with the forestry over that I wanted to use those e-bikes, electric bikes, and call it a mobility device, and then just take solar panels strapped to the bike to charge the batteries, and that, but they won't let me. They want to say, they told me I could go, but I have to take my power chair, which can't go over even a 2-inch curb. So there's no way I could go, and they're not going to let me. They're It's ridiculous. It makes me mad. I get angry with these guys. I went to several meetings with the forestry, public meetings, and show up and argue with them. And then after the meeting, go around to all the big wigs and argue with them. I get emails from them. They like all the fires in Oregon and Washington in the western United States. They send me emails, updates on all the fires and all that stuff. I'm on their email list. So I get all their emails that they email out that they would give to the public. So I get all kinds of stuff when they're having meetings on passing laws or making you know, code or whatever you want to call it, policy. Like right now, what they're trying to do is they want to shut, and not just in California, all over the place. Good night, Ghost. I'll talk to you later, man. My phone is charging. I got it back from Adolf's house tonight. But they want to, it's Agenda 21. It's a UN thing, and they want to make all public lands inaccessible to people. All people. You could get permits and walk in, but they want to close roads, dirt roads, a lot of hiking trails. They want to narrow it down to less access for people, and they want it to go back to the wildlands. Why, I don't know. It's Agenda 21. And they're working on that slowly but surely. They know that if they went and closed it off at the amount that they want it closed off and just did it, everybody would scream bloody murder. But they're like little bit by little bit, like how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, and then pretty soon the elephant's gone. Well, they are making policies and laws little bit by little bit, and they're little bit by little bit keeping us out of areas that we used to go into, and gating things and stuff like that. And that's something they're doing right now. And I was hoping President Trump would turn that around and stop that crap. Man, I'm hungry enough to go eat the sign off of Wendy's. I really need to go too. I'm so tired. Oh man, this week is really, I'm wore out. I ran all over the mountains yesterday with Adolf, and the other night I was running around out there looking for the Dogman, and in between I was redoing this room and setting all this stuff up. I'm almost to the point now. I mean, I have it now where I can just turn on and turn off and walk away. And that's what I wanted. Now I just need to learn the studio, put one more desk in here, get some real lighting, and a drone, and I am done. I'll be pretty much have everything I want. And I want a FLIR too. And only I don't want a FLIR like the kind where you hold it like that and it has a screen that lights up your face. I want the one that is more, I don't know what you call it, where they can't see the light. You can see them, they can't see you. That's what I want. Like a scout FLIR, only it has to record. So those are expensive though. They have them, but they're expensive. Yeah, Viper. I didn't think that knocking did anything. And we went out after Finding Bigfoot came on. and this is before I met him. We I met a bunch of people around here that Finding Bigfoot turned me on to. The Finding Bigfoot people turned me on to that look for, and they were part of the BFRO around here, and they turned me on to the idea of knocking. And knocking will get them, for some, I don't know what it is, they will answer. And a lot of times they don't knock back, they scream or yell or jabber. Sometimes they knock back. They'll knock back a little bit until they figure out that it's not another Bigfoot, and then they'll be quiet again. But sometimes if they're pretty far away and they think that it's another Bigfoot coming in, they roar loud, and it's like letting the other Bigfoot know they are there, and don't come in my little turf. But it works, and I'm not exactly sure why it works, but it works. And so does hollering. Maybe not exactly like they holler, but hooting, like act like a monkey, that works. And another thing that works is whistling. You could be whistling a tune. They like it. They're interested in it. Go whistling, and pretty soon you'll start hearing your whistles coming back. They'll mimic the whistle exactly to what you're whistling. It's a really good way to get them to reveal they're there. Otherwise, you don't know they're there. They will not make any noise, nothing. But if you knock on wood, that sounds funny. Knock on wood, they'll do some kind of response usually. Usually for me it's vocals, not knocking on wood. But I have had them knock. Now when it comes to rock clacking, they won't vocalize. Usually they'll rock clack, and I think that's more like a friendlier greeting thing, because they rock clack, and then all of a sudden you'll notice like you can hear them. You can't see them, but you could hear them moving through the brush, snapping branches and stuff like that, until they see you. Even though I never see them, that's what I mean by ninjas. They will, once they see you, all of a sudden you might not ever get another response the whole rest of the weekend. Even though they're not gone, you'll think they're gone, but they're not gone. They'll be there, but they just won't respond to anything again. They won't respond to knocking, hollering, anything. But at night, they will come in your camp or get really close to your camp. They'll throw little rocks at your tent. They'll sound like owls and stuff like that, and they'll you won't think anything of it, but it will be them and not owls and stuff like that. It's a very interesting, they're very, very interesting. And I believe that a lot of people are within feet of an encounter, those that go out hunting and they never encounter one. I believe that there's probably, say they go out thousands of times in the woods, 75% of the time they are only feet from having an encounter, and they don't know it. I actually believe that. Oh, good night, Adolf. Thanks for giving me my phone, man. I'm so glad that I didn't lose it. I accidentally left my phone in his car. I thought I left it on a rock at a lake. I'm so glad it was under his seat. Man, I hope that helps what I'm telling you guys. Because I'm not all about. I need to get going too, but I'll part with one last thing before I go. I want to share what I know. and pass that information on. There's a whole bunch of people out there looking, and a lot of them, they like same as us, game cameras, all these different things, they don't work at all. You will lose game cameras. You'll spend a fortune on game cameras. You may get like little tidbits, but nothing, anything. The best thing to really have is a audio recorder, and have it on. Don't have it really close to you though, because you'll get hammered like I have, having the audio recorder too close. And then, because what happens is they, when you elicit them and a response from them, they usually do it while you're talking. So you're talking along, all of a sudden, as long as you're quiet, nothing's going to happen. Nothing. You can sit there for 2 hours and nothing's going to. As soon as you start talking, then like a few minutes into the conversation, all of a sudden they're having conversation, and they're doing things like knocking and stuff like that. And I'm absolutely positive that they're doing it because they're trying to cover. They have enough experience with people to know that people don't pay attention. So soon as you hear it, you stop and start listening, and they'll stop, and they won't do it again until you're into a conversation again. But if you have the recording device too close to you, all the people hear is you talking. They hear it, the responses that you started with when you go knock or holler like a monkey or something, but only everybody gets annoyed that we're not professional everything and didn't know, that Bigfoot did that. Like, they think that if we would have shut up and let it record, the Bigfoot we would have got a clear sound of a Bigfoot, but that's not how it works. So the best way is get the recording device way away from you, to where you could hear on the recording device people talking, but it isn't talking over the sounds of the Bigfoot, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah, I would have ran too. Thank you, Adolf, for saving me, man. I thought I lost my phone for sure. He actually wasn't really into Bigfoot. Maybe 1 year before we met, they got a picture of a Bigfoot on a webcam or a game cam, but it was way far away from the camera. It looks like a bear I mean, people, it's not the $1 million shot, even though, like, when you zoom into it, you can see these big old baseball mitt glove size hands, and the thing is massive tall, like 13 or 14 feet tall. That's another thing that people are like, they're not that tall. Yeah, they are. They're higher. I've heard of them as high as 14 or 15, 16 feet in the high country. That's when he got into it, and then that's how I met him, was through some other people that were with him that took him up there, and they were having a Bigfoot symposium. I think it was quite a drive for me to go to the symposium. It wasn't in my town, but I couldn't believe there was people in my town that had Bigfoot encounters or knew anything about Bigfoot at all, because I had been actually researching it since 90. I had my sighting in 87, but I was too scared to go back in the mountains for about 6 years. I stayed out. because what I saw scared the life out of me. I realized that I was sharing space with a ninja, a something that was powerful and fast and big enough to rip the door off of my car, grab my tent and run off with it if it wanted to, with 2 or 3 of us in it. Even, I mean, uh, it was scary, and I didn't want to go back to the woods. But then after, but I never, I used to go all by myself all the time, and stay in the woods 14, 16, 18, 20 days during the hunting seasons. And I would even go before the hunting seasons, and I would scout around trying to find the deer movement and see how they're moving and everything. That way, when deer season came, I would be in the right spot, if you know what I mean. I would be uh, following their migration. And that's the actual first thing I found out about Bigfoot was me and Bigfoot were in that area at the same time for a reason. We're both there for the same reason. And I started realizing that when you find out what the migration is of the deer and the food for them and me, you will be right in where they're at because they're there for the same thing. It's an interesting thing. So that was like early 90s. I didn't run into Jeff until like 2009, 2010, something like that. So I had already been doing this for 20 years on my own with nobody else, and only watching Monster Quest or something like that on TV, and then laughing at those guys when they have this big clunky thing going, and looking like a knuckle dragger. I'm thinking they have no idea. Whoever told them they look like that are totally wrong, because they're not like that. Me either, orangutan. I won't either. And I know a gun isn't going to help because they're smart enough to know you have one. So when I do go, I give trees, rocks, cars, bushes, everything a real wide 20 or 30 feet. If I can, I give real wide. I don't get too close to anything because they can hide behind everything. I even found before I met Jeff and those guys, I found where it was sneaking up out of the creek and coming up to my camp, because I like to camp by creeks and stuff, and I use the creek like an ice chest. I keep all our sodas and water and everything in the creek because the creek's freaking cold. I just make a little dam and I just put all that stuff in there so they can't float down, and it keeps things cold. And then I use the ice chest for, your meats and stuff like that, lunch meat. And I found where, I was missing some things, not a lot. It was only, and when you're all by yourself, when you're missing one can of soda or a bottle of water, because I wouldn't put all of them in there, and they were taking things, not a lot, just one. They didn't come in. They weren't greedy like a man. If it was a man, they would have got everything. They would have took it all. But these things only took one. And I never found the can or the bottle or whatever it was they took ever again. It just disappeared. But I found where they would crawl on their bellies. Where if they didn't have any cover at all except for the grass, they would use the grass as cover, and they would belly crawl right up to 3 feet from my tent, and scared the crap out of me, man. When I started realizing how stealthy these things are, they're freaking crazy stealth. Well, I want to learn. I want to learn from the other researchers. I think that they've encountered things that I haven't encountered. That's how come I'm really intrigued with Dr. Johnson and the Xanu, and there's something to that. I think it's kind of scary. Don't get me wrong. I have a hard time swallowing the story, but of all the things that I've learned talking to people, abduction, alien abduction, I've interviewed in the, I don't know, a few dozen alien abduction people personally, and they're still my friends. I've talked to, I don't know, hundreds of Bigfoot encounter people, in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of UFO sightings. So I'm on like a quest of information and knowledge, and I look at it like a big giant puzzle. And every time you learn this little, and you get to put another piece in there, and it's starting to make a big picture. I don't have the whole big picture, but I think if everybody got together and shared, some people won't. They won't share where they go. They won't, and they think they're protecting Bigfoot, but I'll tell you, they don't need protecting. They don't. People could go hunting them if they want to. Big groups of people, they'll be lucky if they get one. And they'll be lucky if somebody doesn't disappear. And maybe even a few of them disappear. So they don't need protecting at all. They are perfectly fine. They are perfectly fine. Oh man. Yeah, every once in a while they will get caught on a game camera. Wait, I have some pictures. If you go on my YouTube channel, I have some video of them, little short clips that weren't even taken from a game camera. This is from a handheld camera. And the problem is, this is what I get from everyone. You only have 11 seconds. Well, first of all, you're so freaked out you can't even hold the camera steady. Second, the wind was blowing like crazy. Third, it was 1,000 yards away. And for some reason, as soon as you pull the camera out, it freezes and it won't move. And it wasn't like that was the first time that we pulled the camera out. So when you zoom in on it, you can't hold the camera steady because you can't. And then the wind's blowing, make it even harder that you can't. And then it's not moving. So, and it's not. It'll stand there it'll stand there till your battery runs out, or you look away for a second. As soon as you look away, it's gone. And that's exactly what happened on the ones that I have in my clips. They were there and then tried to get a better, closer shot and took your eyes away for a second. And how they know with their back to you that you took your eyes off them, I don't know yet. But they do. And soon as you take your eyes off for a split second and look back, they're gone. So you have to stand there and let your battery run down. And then everyone's going to tell you, it's not that's a stump. It's a stump. It's a burnt tree. It's a rock. It's a shadow. So you're trying to get the good shot. It's impossible. They don't go, "Hey, I'm over here. Check this out." They just don't do that. I wish they would, but they don't. They are good at blending in. Just like if there's a few deer standing in front of you and you didn't see them and they're not moving, and you won't see them. They will be in the flat out wide open with trees and bushes behind them, and you will not see the deer. As soon as it wiggles its ear, you'll see it. But normally you will not see it, and that's how these are. Just like that. Oh, I would love to see that, man. That's cool. But check out those videos I have, especially the one where I says Bigfoot roars at us. I know I'm totally not good at audio. So what I did was I stepped up the audio where it roars at, and it's real loud, and then it goes back down to normal after the roar. But I did it because I wanted people to hear the roar. So when you hear the audio go up, it roars, and then it'll go down. The audio level will go down, and there isn't a roar in that part. But as soon as it goes up again, there's a roar, and it roars 10 times. And it actually is coming closer to us. So the first 3 roars you could barely hear, but if you know what you're listening for, you can hear it. When it gets to the 4th or 5th, 6th roar, you could hear it. You could hear it with a cell phone. It is freaking roaring like King Kong. It was roaring so loud, it was shaking the inside of my body. Danny, you could ask Danny Valderrama Jeff, all of them, they were all there. And man, that thing was roaring, and it was a good quarter mile away and roaring like King Kong, and you could feel it vibrating you. And I have a video of that. I have the recording. And they're like, I don't hear it. They just give me a bunch of grief, But I don't care. I'm going to still put it up. I leave it up. People can listen to it, and they make up your own mind what you think that you hear or what it is. I know what it is. I don't care what everybody thinks, really. They can just not believe it or believe it. They don't go out there. I do. Nobody puts their life on the line. We put our life on the line and lose equipment and get the life scared out of us. We bring our depends, because it depends if you're going to shit your pants or not sometimes. I think the Jacobs photos of a bear, a mangy bear, skinny, hungry bear. It's too hard to tell anything else. Yep. It literally vibrates your inside. My stomach, when it first roared, it was pretty far away, and I felt it in my stomach, and I thought my stomach was growling. And that was what I thought it was. And I was actually had headphones on like this, and I was holding I can't remember what it is, but it's one of those bowls with a microphone in it, and I had one of those, and I actually was aiming it the wrong way, not in the direction of the yell, but I did hear it, but I thought it was my stomach also, because I felt it in my stomach, and I heard the grumble, and I thought, oh, whoa, and this sounds so stupid, but I actually turned it to my stomach. I wanted to hear my stomach do it again, only I wanted to really hear what my stomach was doing. I never thought about doing that before. So here I am standing here aiming this thing at my stomach, a parabolic. That's what I had, parabolic. So I'm aiming the parabolic at my stomach, and it roared again. Only then I realized it wasn't coming from my stomach. It was coming from outside my stomach. And when I looked up, I saw everyone reacting to it and looking in a certain direction. And then, man, I had the parabolic aimed that direction. Only it wouldn't record. The parabolic didn't record. But luckily we had an iRig with a microphone on an iPhone, and we recorded it on that. And it was getting closer and closer, like running at us. And what was really weird is about an hour and a half or 2 before we heard the roaring, we actually heard a baby crying. We didn't get a recording of that, though. But there was a baby crying. It sounded just like an infant crying. And we were going towards that. And it was screaming bloody murder crying. And I thought, who's down here with a baby? And the gate was closed. You couldn't drive down there. You had to walk. We were 2 miles down in there. And we start hearing a baby crying. And a little while later, that's when we heard King Kong coming. And I don't know if we got too close to the baby or I don't know what happened, Yeah, we all froze too. Then if you listen to the clip that I have, you'll hear everyone like, "What the fuck was that? Holy shit." You'll hear the reaction of everyone. And I catch grief from everybody, but I want to leave that in there because I want everybody to hear the reaction of 5 people. You hear everyone react, like, and we're all woods people group, we all are out in the woods all the time. So when you hear somebody react like that, and there's bears all around where we're at, so we hear bears, they roar sometimes, and mountain lions scream and roar, and we've heard all that. This is nothing like that. It was 100 times louder than any of the loudest roars we ever heard. But it's interesting. Go listen to it. You'll love it. Well, you guys, I gotta get. It's been so fun. I appreciate every one of you tuning in. I love all of you. I actually pray for everyone in Jesus' name that you're abundantly blessed, healed, abundantly. Your family is abundantly blessed. You have abundant life, abundant health, abundant wealth, and stay happy and say squatchy. That's how we roll. And remember, Jesus protects you when you're out there, and his name is above all names, and it will keep you safe. Just remember that.